Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the greatest ever computer that has ever existed for fantasy football. Don't believe me that it's the greatest ever computer? Nerdy Tenor hasn't watched football since 1998 and finished 5th in the Battle Royale last week, just doing what his computer told him to do. We are going to solve Week 10 fantasy football and Battle Royale right now. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. All right. I hope everyone was able to make their way into the right stream. I created Friday morning stream at the wrong time. I had it set for this morning, but we are here. We are here to click clack. And Dan, I mean, we definitely should not bury the lead. You did take 5th place in the main Battle Royale.
Yeah, that was a fun surprise. You know, I wasn't really sweating Underdog. I only had 20 entries in, but I knew I had a lot of Lamar in my 20 entries, and I had a lot of Zay Flowers. So I was like, I wonder if I made some money this week. So yeah, that was pretty fun to see.
Well, I bet you were nearly one of the only people in the field that had Lamar, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers. I would think that very many people would not onslaught. They would only be doing one or the other. So there you go. Even Brian Nerdy doesn't even have to try, and he finds the shippers.
Well, I remember drafting this and being like, do I really want all 3 from this game? This seems like my simulation is too coarse and is not accounting for the unlikelihood of all 3 of them having very good games, but it worked out. So
it did work out. Brian, how did your teams do?
I did a bunch actually, and did not cash one, I believe.
Oh no.
Let me double check, but I draft 30 minutes before it locks. And so I was trying to get Eckler in the 6th each time. I figured what's his draft, we had his draft percentage, whatever it was going to be way too low. He's basically free. No one's going to have him. He did okay. But I needed him to do a little better. I thought like, what sort of edge am I going to have here? I put Dan's stuff in, and then, looked at the ownership and then the optimal rates, and guys who were like grossly underowned, I would take. But yeah, I got nothing. Everyone else won. I got smoked.
Everyone else won. Of course, Pete wins, swapping to Zay Flowers. Gino, he did a Gino double with the swap to Zay Flowers. Gino, Kamara, Henry, Flowers, JSN, Brock Bowers. I don't even know what the winning team was. Lamar, Kamara, A-Chain, Flowers, JSN, Bowers. Yeah, I mean, look, I had 30% A-Chain. I had 30% of Chase Brown, the 2 best plays of the slate. Did I win? Of course not. Of course, could not find number 1.
Another interesting first round. I felt like there was Jamar Chase, at least drafting on when I did. Jamar Chase shit the bed. Who else up there? CD Lamb. Was CD Lamb on the slate? I think he was, right? Yeah.
He was the 101. He sucked.
Yeah, CD Lamb didn't do anything.
It's interesting you mentioned Jamar Chase. He was one of those guys in my 20 drafts I never got or got very little of, because the consensus was just always drafting him a little earlier than I would. I think I got 1 out of my 20 or something.
It's just it's something I always find
interesting. I mean, there is very real value every week in just having, as Brian loves to point out on this program, and just having the weirdest roster combos. And the easiest thing you can do to have weird roster combos and portfolio combos is to not take the players going in the first round. It's just, I mean, it's literally so easy. Like this week, I mean, I guess we don't even have to hop into one, but look at the main slate and just be like, so these guys all project the same: Kamara, Bijan, Allen, and then quarterbacks in the second round, tight ends in the second round. There is no difference. There is no difference between Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift. Like, they're just from projection standpoint, none. It is an elite week to scroll. But wide receiver, Dan, I mean, I'm going to guess your Sims have 3 wide receiver as like 2% optimal. Like, you should just never do it. You should just, it's so bad.
You're pretty close. Right now it's at 3.9%.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So
it's really bad.
On your kind of strategy talk there, that let's say there's no difference between Taylor and who was the other person you said?
DeAndre Swift.
So if we think that's true, you don't want to just fade the first round. You want to look at the combos. And then just fade whatever of the highest of those guys are. Like, the order doesn't mean you just totally don't take one of them or don't take people in the first round. You know, whatever, like, let's say those two together is really high. You know, it's like, okay, well, let's just not take them together, but maybe individually we'll take them. I think that's a much more, prudent strategy than just, I'm not going to take anyone from 1.1 to 1.6.
No. I'm not saying that. I mean, yeah, Justin Jefferson is the 101 because he's the best play, period. But like, a thing I'm consciously trying to do this week is not just taking Darnell Mooney because he's the wide receiver 11 and he's there, but like taking Jordan Addison, taking Rome Odunze, taking I don't know. I guess these guys are all not taking Michael Pittman Jr. a little bit. Like, I mean, that was like what happened last week was JSN, you know, was the guy you needed. And he wasn't even close to being not even 50% drafted. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, this all my best teams had Drake London on them is basically what happened, which is
that's what happened to me in traditional DFS. I had just a crap ton of Drake London. Like, I ended up way over the field, and then whoopsie.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. All right, Dan, do we have anything different that we are doing in the Sims?
Nope, nothing different. I just wrapped up a completely unrelated project, but more on that later, maybe.
All right, beautiful. More on the completely unrelated project later. Let's go ahead and hop in to our very first BR. I've not done very many. I've only done 16 this week. They didn't open the contest until Tuesday afternoon, so that is part of it. JT is going in like round 2. He's the running back 7, but man, let me tell you, wide receiver gets discussed. I mean, I basically hate everyone. The one wide receiver I like is the guy who goes 101, and you could even argue that he might be a bad pick because the Minnesota Vikings might throw 15 forward passes in this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is probably not going to play. Mac Jones is going to be starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's not a sentence that you ever want associated with your team.
So, for what it's worth, my stuff is drafting JJ first.
The Sims no ball.
But it's close. It's close between him and elite running back.
What's going on with Tampa Bay's wide receiver situation, David?
I think that Jalen McMillan is going to play this week. It sounded like he was pretty close to playing last week, but I don't think Mike Evans is going to be back. So I think it's going to be Shepard, McMillan, Palmer, with Jarrett as the rotational fourth. I mean, he finished out that last game with the bum hammy.
Yeah, but he didn't practice yesterday.
Well, I guess I missed that. Honestly, I thought he got a limited practice. Well, he's.
I only know this because I hit Neil's show yesterday and looked it up because I was drafting.
Sterling Shepard is also 30 years old. So 30-year-olds don't practice on Wednesday, and they definitely don't practice on Wednesday after a short week. All right, first round goes Jefferson, Barkley, Hurts. That's weird.
That's
Bijan,
very weird.
This
There's
guy.
no reason to take Hurts there.
No. Now, obviously, McCaffrey is the big.
Yeah, we should talk about how we want to handle him. So
I think you jam him. Continue.
Right now, it's saying Kamara and then McCaffrey. So my sources are all projecting McCaffrey in.
So I agree with that, and then on top of that, this is very unlike the other McCaffrey Q week that we had in week 2, where Mason was getting drafted. Mason is not getting drafted at all, so the swaps are very clean. Who does it want now?
No, it's just going to want. Well, now it's mixing some running backs. It's got Jones, Taylor, McCaffrey. Yeah, McCaffrey's winning by a bit. Yeah, McCaffrey's leading. So, yeah, sure. Just get him. Easy, boring start.
You know, and it's so funny. It's like this start is going to be duplicated quite often, I think.
Yeah, I would imagine.
But man, it's a good start.
It really is.
It's a good start.
So my stuff thinks Kamara should be like second or third compared to the field.
Well, you have Cardi's stuff in?
Cardi has one of the pieces, and that's
so Cardi is projecting Alvin Kamara for 26 points.
Okay. That would be why.
So, and like, buddy, I'm not even saying that projection is wrong.
No.
But anyways, on what to do with CMC in BR this week, my opinion would be he basically is a stone cold jam, because running back is flat enough and wide receiver is the opposite of flat, where it's like, well, sure, if you don't, like, what's the right way to say this? So basically, swap McCaffrey for Jordan Mason or swap McCaffrey for DeAndre Swift. You're losing some points of projection, but you're gaining some in ownership. But
right.
McCaffrey is such a high-end point scorer compared to the running back 8 through 12 that your advantage when he plays and is a full go is quite high, and you're not passing over high-end wide receiver points either. It's not like you're not passing over a good version of CeeDee Lamb to get him.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It seems the thing that dominates it for what you just said is that the penalty if he doesn't play is not that bad, right?
It would be a lot different, I think, if Jordan Mason was getting drafted and you couldn't just clean 1-to-1, but you can just clean 1-to-1. All right. Debo goes. Who does the computer want us to take now?
Okay. So how do we handle Drake London? Is he okay?
I think he seems like he's going to play.
It's saying Devontae Adams, Drake London, Travis Kelce at the moment. London winning by a hair. Those guys are all really close in this.
So I think this is actually an early example of maybe something that could benefit you this week, because London was the wide receiver 7 last week. Everyone wanted him.
Right.
Scored a touchdown in the first quarter. Then he got hurt, but he was only a hit pointer. Like he should be okay.
So yeah, now it's saying Kelce, Adams, Daniels, McBride, Kelce winning by a hair.
I knew it was going to love Kelce this week.
Yeah. So tight end is an interesting curve in my stuff. So there's 2 primo and then 3 pretty good.
Yeah.
And then if you get stuck with the last one, it's just like roll the dice. There's like a bunch of options that are all.
There's a lot of really good ones to roll the dice on this week, in my opinion. All right, so we have Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Drake London, and Travis Kelce. Brian, are any of those combos dead yet?
I'm actually investigating. We're having an issue with the caddy on the back end right now, so I can't see.
Crap.
John, who says the penalty situation is massive active. CMC plays 58% of the snaps and has 10 carries and 3 targets.
Sure.
Kyle Shanahan cannot help himself. It's the same thing as Kyron Williams. Every single week, Sean McVay goes to the media and says, we're going to do 2 drives for Kyren, 1 drive for Corum every week. And then every week they get in the game and the games get a little bit tight. They get a little bit close and Blake Corum never plays. It will be the exact same thing. I have Dan, I have like 9 of those DraftKings coffee mugs. They're everywhere. I cannot go.
They're really good.
They're really good.
I would never shell out, the $60 for one of these Yeti mugs.
No.
So it was actually one of the best gifts I got from DraftKings. I use it all the time.
Do you use the suit bag they send you?
Yes, I use that all the time too.
I use it too.
Although I did not bring it to the FanDuel final, I thought that would be cheesy.
That would be cheesy.
Although somebody did it, my wife stopped him in the airport. She's like, "Don't you feel weird?" Because we were deciding what luggage to bring. He brought a DraftKings branded bag to the FanDuel final. Anyway, I thought that was funny.
You have to pay a lot of rake to get those mugs. You have to pay a lot more than $60. You gotta be a real rake payer. And they probably don't even do it anymore. They probably don't even give those gifts anymore. But you got to pay a lot of rake.
I am the rake king, man.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
My wife loves her DraftKings mug. We got the DraftKings ugly sweater. Yeah. No, this is true. The 3 to 5th round wide receivers they're like the worst clicks on the board. You just gotta scroll.
Yeah, this is such a good. I want to address that because there's a poker analogy I use a lot. So anytime, like in poker, like especially when people are newer to the game, I'll let this run first and then I'll make my stupid comment. Okay, it's saying, oh, Brian Thomas is at the top at the moment.
So we
Brian
need to
Thomas
address
and Lad McConkey right now.
Okay, we'll do Lad. Brian Thomas is the team total is going to go down for the Jaguars because Trevor Lawrence is not going to play.
Okay.
So we're gonna take Lad because I don't as much want Mac Jones #1 wide receiver.
Now we need what? We need a quarterback now.
We need a quarterback. So Mahomes, Cousins, or Herbert.
Right now, it likes Mahomes by a good bit. I'll let it continue to cook, but it has Mahomes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it likes him by a solid margin.
That tracks to me.
It thinks you did very well in this draft.
Oh God, I love it. How much money did we make? How much money did we make?
Draft. Well, how much is it to enter? $7. So it thinks this draft is paying out $15.63. So we made $8.63 in EV. Sweet.
All right, so I only have to do that 130 times, and I'm rich.
Exactly. No, I was gonna say. So somebody posted about how uncomfortable the wide receiver picks are. So anytime like you're in an uncomfortable spot, your opponents are too. Like it's really key to remember that. And then the key thing is you have to resist the urge to do the least uncomfortable thing, because especially in this game, if you just do the least uncomfortable thing, you're just way too concentrated on, because it's kind of the opposite of what you should do at the end of a draft, especially when you just have a ton of options that are very similar. You should be spreading out or finding the things nobody is drafting that are almost as good. So just push the discomfort a little bit harder. It would be my suggestion for the end of the, like if you're picking 2 wide receivers at the end, like that's a good place to look. And also just a disclaimer on my tool, like in order to run relatively quickly, it doesn't look at all of the options. It has to cut it off somewhere so that it can run reasonably fast. So if you suggest like for the 6th pick some random wide receiver, it might not even appear as an option, but that doesn't mean it's a bad pick. It just means that
Ashton Doolin is not in the pool. Justin Watson is not in the pool.
I just had to cut it off somewhere, so it doesn't necessarily make it a bad pick.
Well, I will try to avoid overruling the computer. I mean, we're really, it's if Nerdy Tenor is taking play, if Nerdy Tenor is taking 5th and Peter's taking 2nd, I think it's time for me to just do what the computer says. It's time to be done fighting the computer.
Okay, here's the wide receiver quiz. So in my software, how many wide receivers do you think it's taking over 90% of the time?
How many wide receivers is it? 3.
It's 7. So it's JJ.
Huh.
Well, because you have to pick at least 2, right? So, but it's
Okay,
JJ,
sure.
Garrett Wilson, Devontae, Debo, Drake, AJ Brown, and then Downs, Josh Downs.
Downs is he's the secret. He's the secret sauce this week.
And then the next, let's see. So you need to, there's 12, minimum 12 taken in every draft. But when you get down to the 12th one in my ranking, it's only drafted 50% of the time. The 12th best one, which is, so it's very flat down there. There's a bunch of guys you could take.
That makes sense to me.
The number I'm always interested in for the tool is the QBs, the later round QBs who are projected to be owned, 5 to 20%, and what their optimal is, which is almost always higher each week. So far, it's always been, these later guys are getting more optimal percentages than drafted, and that seems like a good strategy to me, just generally speaking.
And by the way, this week it's like extra that way because Lamar is not on the slate.
There's no Lamar.
You take Lamar out, and that, so like of the quarterbacks who can nuke this slate on their own, there's Allen, Lamar, Hurts, and Jayden Daniels. Those guys can nuke. Like they could put up 35, and I basically think there is no other quarterback who can do that.
Agree. So those 3 guys, I mean, Lamar's not in this one. So Allen, Hurts, and Daniels are all over 95%, and then a big drop. So Purdy is next in my ranking, and Purdy is at 77%.
Damn. So the field knows ball because that's what they're doing. Purdy's the quarterback 4.
But what do we get for somebody like Aaron Rodgers or Baker Mayfield? What are they being drafted at?
I'm gonna guess Baker never. Baker 2% of drafts or something.
Yeah, so that seems like a pretty big leap by the field, not to get to some.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're having this back end issue, and we can't look at what can't really look at it. Yeah, so just PSA. Our numbers on the caddy right now are not right. So don't use the caddy yet. We're getting it fixed, hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, we can't tell. But that is definitely one thing each week that I look at is those, and it just makes it easy to draft and stuff. I wanted to talk about what Dan just said though. I thought that was really just a great point about poker and and when you're put in these uncomfortable positions, it's just so easy to take the
path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance. Like in poker, like the easiest analogies is like someone makes a bet into you, like a big bet into you. It's easy to fold, right? It's harder to call, and it's really hard to raise in like these spots, right? I mean, when you got the nuts, of course, it's the easiest. But clearly, this isn't a spot when you don't. And so, like most of the time, you're probably just going to be adjusting your frequencies to the path of least resistance and folding more too frequently in those spots.
So what you're saying is I actually just need to move up to where they respect my raises so people are not betting into me?
Exactly.
Right.
You want to play against better players.
I've actually forced myself, because when I'm not playing well, I lean in the weak tight direction if I'm not careful. And I will force myself, like if I'm really hemming and hawing, I'll literally flip a coin. I'll make myself do it.
Isn't that what all the good players do?
Well, they're a little more scientific. They actually know what the proper frequencies are. Mine is more a psychological hack where I'm like, I know I shouldn't be folding 100% here, and this is really close. So I'm just going to flip a coin and do what it says, and to keep myself from defaulting into the easiest thing that I can do.
Haven't you considered that sometimes you just got to look them up?
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Sometimes you just got to look them up to let them know.
Well, people got to look me up because they see this old, tight-looking white guy and they think I can.
Dude, I was just thinking that, Dan. I was thinking that if you sat down to play next to me and I didn't know you, I'd be like, if that dude bets into me, that man has the nuts. I would fold to you so fast. In any sort of aggressive.
What would you do if you didn't know me, Davis? What? And I bet into you. What would you do?
I would just assume you were terrible. I think. I think the bearded guy is just like he's always the donk at the table. Most of the time. And now, granted, I have most of my live cards have been in rural Oklahoma. There's a casino right next to my grandparents' house that when I would go visit that, then you can play when you're 18 in Oklahoma. So when we would go and visit them, I would, after everyone went to bed, I would go play 1-2 or 2-5. And the bearded guy drinking a beer, he was always the worst player at the table, 100% of the time.
Funny. Yeah, no, I always play the same game when it's available, and most of the people playing know who I am, so I can't get away with this. But if there's like a stone new player, especially if it's a young guy that I've never played with, then I am ramping up my bluff frequency against that guy for sure. But everybody knows. Almost everybody knows me.
The 27-year-old in the hoodie. Are you just like, God, he mentions his hourly rate and you're just like, I hate you. Like, you're the worst person in the world. Like, I've never hated anyone more than the guy who mentions his hourly. It's just like, okay, dude,
I don't know if I've ever actually heard that.
I'm drawing from this experience in real life. Like, I do remember playing in this rural Oklahoma casino, like at 8:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve. And I remember this guy who was pretending to be good at cards, and like mentioned his hourly. And I was like, please shut up. No, come on. This is absolutely not. All right, let's get back to business.
Yeah. If I can win enough to pay for my table massage, I consider it a win.
It's a good
that's
day.
My biggest leak.
I'm not saying the chat is misconstruing me. I'm not saying beards in general unsharp you. I'm just saying, in my experience at the poker table in rural Oklahoma and Kansas City, that the bearded guy drinking a Coors Light is not a good card player.
Silver Bullet, yeah. So then you definitely would think I'm bad. That's my trash beer is the Silver Bullet.
I was gonna say you seem like a Silver Bullet drinker.
So why don't we combine these ideas, and when we put Davis in an uncomfortable, let's all start drinking Silver Bullets right now. No, if we put Davis in an uncomfortable position, we'll look at the clock, and then we'll let that be our coin flip, so to speak. So I don't know if there's 3 picks, you got whatever, up to what would it be, 11? I guess you could use this to 10 minutes. So like,
I actually thought, in all seriousness, I thought about making that a feature in my tool. I may add it.
Yeah.
Where instead of, so I have a button that says make the best pick. I want to add a feature where I say make a random pick that's within 5% of the best pick. I may just add that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, how else do you really...
My stuff's not good enough to be that accurate as it is. So like anything that close is essentially the same.
It's going to want us to take it. We're going to end up with 1 billion % McCaffrey doing that today.
So we'll use the 10 minutes right now, though. So Davis, if we got 3 selections, 0 through 3 minutes, 3 through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is.
Okay, it's running. Oh, this is weird. Interesting. Breece Hall, Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey. Breece Hall, Wilson, Aaron Jones. It's all spread out. It really wants... Why does it want Breece Hall so much? That's surprising. Maybe it just won this sim.
What am I using as the RNG, Brian?
I'm trying to do the math in my head. It should be what? If there's 3 picks, it should be 0, 1, 2, 3. That's 4. No, yeah.
If you're asking me to do math on this, I'm gonna freak out. I'm not doing math in front of these people.
No, wait, that's right. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3. No, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So now it's saying Swift, Taylor, Kelsey, Hunt, Paul. It's like a bunch of things. Let me see if it's...
Well, yeah, when it's that too many, there's nothing you could do.
Jones, Taylor, Swift. It likes the best right now. They're all neck and neck. Taylor winning. Taylor, Jones, very tight.
Did I do what you wanted me to do, Brian?
Sure.
Am I blind? It's not giving me the pop out button. The site
Scroll your right window up. Oh, that's weird.
The site is bugging out.
Oh shit. Well, I'll have to pay attention then.
Well, I'm gonna have to scroll for you.
Aaron Jones. I'm caught up so far. I hope.
Scroll. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
That, not me. Okay, that was not the site. The site is working fine. Everyone, I apologize. It's fine. It's all good. Yeah. I'm the boomer.
The boomer comment. I'm the closest to boomer of anyone here.
Yeah, but you know computers.
That's true. Yeah, back
So
when
that kind of disqualifies you.
You actually grew up in the perfect time to capitalize off of the boom of computers.
It's true.
I wasn't far off, but
yeah, I got pretty lucky with the timing, especially when I graduated. Like anyone with a pulse who could like type.
I was gonna say if you're 48 years old and you just like understand computers at all, you could have just shipped. Like if you knew what the internet was in what 1995.
Yeah, and you're playing against donkeys, right? No one knows what they're doing.
There's
no competition.
Cade Otten. It does not like your spot. It says Otten and then Kyler
terrible.
Murray and Jayden Daniels.
We'll take Otten because I probably won't take Otten on my own at all.
Okay, I like that.
So that is fine by me. I mean, yeah, just what a weird week.
It
I
is.
feel like this happens a lot.
It's gonna want us to take Daniels now, I bet.
Let's see. Wow, it's mixing. It says Brian Thomas. Oh, this is weird. Yeah, Drake London, then Jayden Daniels, then Brian Thomas, then Josh. It's got a lot of options that are very tight. Jayden Daniels winning, actually. So you were correct. It's winning by a small amount. So it's within the margin of error. So this is funny. It actually had Baker pretty close to the top there, which is a good example of a play I would probably never make as a human being.
Right.
Like if you decide I'm going to go Baker, just wait until round 6 because nobody is going to fucking take him probably.
This is my concern is that not that Dan's computer is wrong, but that the projections are wrong. The projections have gotten over their skis a little bit on Mr. Otten.
The tight ends have been going off, man.
The tight ends have been going nuclear. Yeah.
The randomness idea, Dan. Wouldn't it be nice if it was proportional to the implied edge and volatility? So like like if you have 3 options, but the first one is much better than the other 2, but the other 2 are still in play, like it should occasionally give you those in the randomizer.
Yeah, but so there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I know what the ideal way, one of the ideal ways is, it's just too slow to converge. So if you could really run my shit for a long time, you can just, is that Cook and then Connor and then Cook? Okay. Yeah. You could just, what you would do is you'd run it and you'd basically periodically look to see how often each player was winning and then use that as the percentage. Because that's what the mix would actually be.
Does
It
it want us
wants
to take
DJ Moore,
McLaurin?
DJ Moore actually. Josh Downs, DJ Moore.
You
Very
took Jayden
close.
Daniels.
No, I
Daniel?
didn't.
You didn't?
Oh, no, I did, but yeah, we'll take Josh Downs.
Downs, okay.
Is that a solo Daniels?
That's a solo Daniels. We still have the option of taking McLaurin here. Now I'm assuming it will want us to take McLaurin.
It might not. So it was Purdy and Kareem Hunt went?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was in one of these spots earlier, and it was actually pretty close, although it's not as close here. Yeah, it wants Terry McLaurin here.
Yeah.
So when I was in that spot, it was between McLaurin and Drake London when I got there, and that was pretty close. It was not clear, and I think it actually preferred Drake in that spot. Interestingly enough, maybe just noise. Who knows?
Actually, it looks like Davis has the old version of the draft caddy, and it looks like that is correct. It's the new one that's broken.
Okay.
So maybe we could trust Davis's projections there.
Numbers. So this one we lost a little bit off our $7. It gave us $6.19. But that's after rake. That's close to break even, which is not bad for drafting fifth.
No, we can't complain about that.
No.
So we are still slightly up.
Back to the variance thing, Dan.
Yeah.
So, assuming it can't converge because we don't have enough time, then couldn't you just like add in some sort of volatility measure, number that like increases it based on, we know we can't get this many sims. So like the less accurate it is, the wider this randomness should be to give us this distribution type of thing.
Yeah. I have to think about it some more. I think I'll probably do the easiest thing first and then think about it some more.
Yeah, I'm saying just theoretically.
Yeah, I actually don't know. So it also depends what your goal is. Like, so one goal is to just account for the fact that these are very approximate and to try and not take the numbers too seriously. But if you're doing a lot of drafts, like that will kind of take care of itself. Like, at any one particular decision point, like there might be a bunch of options, and the fact that it's a little bit random which one it thinks is quote best. I mean, whatever. Maybe you don't actually need to do anything. But the variance of different picks idea, I'll have to think about that some more.
You're saying like building into an RNG into the process.
The selection process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it already is kind of random. It would be.
I was gonna say that the way it works right now.
Yeah.
It does that because it doesn't have enough time. If we had infinite time, if we could cook each pick, but the way it works now, you're getting that inherently.
Right. I mean, the other kind of thing you would maybe want this for, I think it's the wrong way of solving. I'll describe it. I mean, so like, let's say there's a spot where there's two running backs pretty close in value, and it keeps falling to us, but it's enough of a delta that it's always picking A over B, and we don't really trust. We think the projections are more volatile than that. And we don't think we should always be picking A over B, let's say. It would solve that kind of problem, but I think it's the wrong solution. I think the solution there is to put the fragility into the sim itself so that it can account for that directly. That would be sort of and again, I think the solution there is to just override it. Like there's a little bit where you can be like, you know what? It's been giving me the same choice 8 times in a row. I don't really think it's that much better, so I'm gonna maybe not do that.
It all depends on how we see this playing out too, from like a tools perspective, because the user is going to be the one selecting it anyways.
Right.
So like kind of like
I just end up, because I do so many at a time, and I'm never like 100% locked in. Like Dan, when you draft these, you're like locked in. You're like looking at the screen. I assume you have your tool up all the time when you're drafting these.
I do, yeah, and I override it a fair bit.
You guys hear that? Everyone, did you hear that? Dan himself overrides it. It's not just me.
Not as much as this lunatic, though. No, just So all the time is strong, but the thing that I've talked about this before. The situation I override it the most is when the software is suggesting I pick something way earlier than everyone else.
Yeah,
and I quickly learn that I do not need to pick it in round 3 because I'm going to get it in round 5 or 6. So that's the most common override scenario for me. I think I have that here with James Conner. I think let me bring him up.
Well, the point I was trying to make was I think I end up having very non-diverse structure. And very like I'm like, well, I guess sometimes it almost works. Like last week with A-Chain and Brown, like that had I drafted, I don't think I drafted a single Geno JSN. Had I drafted a single Geno JSN team, I had the shipper in there somewhere because I had the 2 optimal running backs of the slate on 1/3 of my teams. So I guess it's half dozen of one, 6 of the other.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to back into a winner.
That's fair.
All right, we ready?
Yep, fired up.
Okay, Brian, did you solve the caddy or is it still busto?
No, I can't solve it.
Do you have the combos though, or those are unavailable?
No, I have them, but they're not right. And my ownership looks different than yours. So something's going on.
What you're telling me is that I actually win by being lazy and running 3 versions of the caddy ago?
Yes. Yeah, you not updating is actually very helpful.
Somebody asked, why don't we just make rankings with it? This last comment. And the reason is rankings are useful, but they don't give you enough information to draft intelligently, because you have to account for your team and what everybody else is up to, right?
Yeah, there's too much going on.
I will say in it's a little more viable in this format versus like if you just used rankings in like a primetime Palooza, you would get your ass handed to you, because the positional scarcity and figuring out like when you need to shift from one thing to another is so highly dependent on what your opponent is up to.
Oh, let's go.
Jefferson it is. I don't even need to run it.
God, I love that. That is every Justin Jefferson you get, just treasure it and hold it and feel good about it. Dan, have you been playing National Basketball Association Underdog?
I do, yeah. So it's the kind of thing where if I'm playing NBA and I'm sitting in front of the computer, I will get in there.
Well, you can
such a simpler game.
You can auto draft. You could just auto draft.
You could, although I think I need to study it some more. I think the place where you lose by auto drafting is when you get to parts of the projection curve where you've got 5 guys who all have the same projection.
All project the same.
Yeah, you need to be mixing those up.
I've been playing it not particularly well. I just copy and paste the run ranks, and then actually what I try to avoid the pairings that you get at ADP and the pairings you get if you were just drafting off ETR, because I draft them by hand. And then I also try to I try to correlate guys in the same game, not on the same team. So like last night, John Morant and Austin Reeves, for example, Morant left the game, but to get overtime edge. Because, well, overtime and game pace edge, I'm sure people are listening to this just rolling their eyes. But I'm so unsophisticated compared to my opponents that I'm trying to think about, because I just like the sweat. I just like the NBA and I like to play. So that was one of the things I thought. All right, we're up.
So now it is saying Travis Kelce is winning at the moment. Oh, no, now Jonathan Taylor is winning. So it's bouncing around. It's got Taylor, Connor, Kelce, Garrett Wilson. Those are the
I want to override Taylor because I want to treasure my Justin Jefferson teams, and I don't want Jonathan Taylor to ruin my Justin Jefferson teams. So I'm going to take Kelsey.
That makes sense.
The NBA thing you guys were talking about.
Let us make this pick because I do kind of want to talk about the NBA. I want to figure out.
Pick right before you, Otten.
Kate Otten.
Okay, I'm on it. Oh, it's saying. Yeah, so here's where it's saying James Conner, and you probably don't have to pick him now if you don't want. Well, it's also saying Garrett Wilson.
Wilson is the pick. Wilson, I think is.
It has James Conner right behind, and I think that's one where right now at least people are not picking him as high as my software is picking him, so you can just wait. That's going to be one of he might be the sort of Rhamondre-ish pick this week.
I was going to say, yeah. He won't be though, by the way. By the time people get woke on Saturday, it's going to be the same thing. People are going to be back on James Conner.
What's his number now? Right now is ADP right now. Just so we
real ADP. It's like in the 30s, I think.
Davis, what is it?
I can't see the board.
He's the running back 11. No, running back 13. 34.5.
Can you bring up the board for me?
Oh, sorry.
So I can catch up.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'll compare with mine, and so my stuff has him 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, running back 8. That's not a huge difference, but
so at 34.4 ADP. So we'll see what that is on Sunday. NBA. Well, we're coming up again on this going fast.
Right. Well, let's talk about let's do it after we get done.
We got a lot of badge bros in here.
Patrick Barnes YouTube. He just must be the biggest fan of this channel. Patrick Barnes YouTube must just love. He's I swear he's in every one of these.
It might be a time thing. Maybe
he's bum hunting.
He is bum hunting. The thing I'm curious about is if your stuff wants us to take Darnold is really my
now it wants a running back. It's giving Swift, Dobbins, Connor, Hunt. Swift, Dobbins winning. Dobbins, Connor, Najee has made an appearance. Dobbins winning.
Dobbins it is.
All right. It likes our team at the moment.
I like Hunt the most of those just for the trackers at home.
So it went McLaurin,
Daniels.
That makes sense. Okay, so now it's going to say James Conner. It likes James Conner a lot here, but if we're not doing that, it says Darnold, Mahomes. Darnold is the next thing that's not a running back.
So that was basically my question was, is it going to wait Mahomes with Kelsey or Jefferson with Darnold? I was about to snap take Hunt, and then I realized we had Kelsey, which I like some, but I know I've already taken that once today, and I don't want it. That's an RNG. I want to have some of Hunt and Kelsey together, but I don't want to have like 10 teams of that. Yeah. So no, that is good to know. That right there, the Darnold thing is good to know.
I mean, it would have preferred a running back, but that's it playing against itself. I think against humans here, maybe you don't need to do that. We'll see when it comes back around.
I wonder if that line. I wonder how much line movement there'll be going to Mac Jones. I wonder if the total of that game goes down and Darnold and Jefferson end up projecting worse. They almost assuredly will, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, you're gonna get an option to take a running back.
Well, it's gonna give us James Conner, which is fine.
Almost certainly.
The running back scroll's not great this week. It kind of dies after Stevenson and Dowdle.
We need those Skolansky bucks, so
we're taking.
It wants James Conner by a gigantic margin here, and the reason for that is, It likes James Conner better than the field, and because of that, it's going to think it's much more valuable in terms of ownership comparison than it would be in its sims, because it's assuming everybody else drafted James Conner earlier than this. So, like in the sim, it would never be able to be drafted in the 6th round. This is never going to happen in my sim. So you basically got to pick all that value up earlier. So it's going to overestimate your EV, but it thinks $20.10.
Nice. All right. You can get a cup. You can get a coffee. You can get a donut with that.
You can get like added shots in your coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Pumps of whatever they put in.
Get 13 sugars if you want.
We might not have to apply, for that job at Subway after all.
That's fair.
Okay, so the NBA thing, real quick. I mean, so basically, if you don't know, what happens on NBA and Underdog is all the best players copy and paste the NBA projections from Establish the Run, and then everyone who's good has their own secret sauce of how they RNG. It's very funny. All these guys in Discord won't share their edge with each other. They just all sweat the games in Pete's Discord, and all of their secret sauce is they RNG the SaberSIM or ETR projections in a slightly different way. So knowing that, I just like to I just like to draft by hand anyway, and basically I just try and get some small mini correlations. That's my only thinking. That's all I do.
I think for NBA, in addition to the combo thing, so getting the different combos when it costs you next to nothing is one thing, right? So you got 5 guys, they all basically the same.
John won the other night. Nez, John got 3rd, I think, in the main. Nez chopped 1st in the main.
Sweet.
But so you got to take a lot of losing first. But I think if you did just, so to your point, Dan, this is a great example. So there'll be a guy who goes 32.3 ADP who projects for 31.7 points, and then there'll be a guy who goes 34.7 ADP who projects for 31.09 points. I try and get a bunch of the guy who projects for 0.7 worse, basically.
Sure, why not? Yeah. And then I think another bit of the edge is you want to get in the draft where somebody doesn't know what they're doing, but not so much that your draft gets canceled. That's the real
my new computer is here.
Too much of it. Oh, okay.
My new computer is here. You guys vamp for 7 seconds for me while I go sign for it.
Sure.
So I was gonna say basically exactly what you just said, Dan. That I think what he's missing is the combos in NBA.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to add that to the caddy for NBA. The problem is it's not as big. It's too hard. I'm not sure it'll be accurate enough.
Yeah. With injuries being so last minute, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I also feel like just not drafting too early might be an edge, right?
Oh yeah.
I think it's, I don't know this for a fact. I'm just bullshitting, but I think it's probably hard to make up the EV you give up missing a scratch in NBA. Davis, what do you think of this? I was just,
So first thing I wanted to tell Brian is that he's wrong. That I know all about the combos. I'm purposely trying to avoid the combos in NBA because I don't have the no ball edge in NBA, Brian. The thing I do have the edge on is the combos, of just avoiding the combos that you get if you're drafting off the ETR stuff. That's it. And the Q tag thing, Dan, I go the other way, and you'll probably tell me this is about as bad as it gets. So
I don't know.
Zion Williamson's Q the other night. This is 5 slates ago. He's Q. Jordan Hawkins is Q. And the backup center is Q. And I'm looking at the rotation. I'm like, there's no way Jose Alvarado doesn't play 41 and a half minutes in this game. Jose Alvarado will be a marginal 6th rounder, but he'll also only be drafted 2% of the time max. So I did 10 Jose Alvarado teams
No, that actually seems like a sharp direction to go. Like if you're gonna draft early, like that's how you would make up for the lack of information, is to get, you get a round 6 pick that's just quite marginal in situation A, but very good in situation B. And then, making that gamble correctly, it could be worth a lot. That if I knew more about the NBA, then I could see that being the case. But then you have to measure that against the lack of information you have in the rest of the draft, and decide if it's worth it. Like, I don't have the answer.
I mean, the thing is you would have to have, so like Unabated has like conditional projections, but they don't come out until 3 in the afternoon. Where the conditional projections would be super, super useful would be at like 9 a.m.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the combos thing. Assuming you could do this in NFL too, but assuming we could get reliable combo data in the NBA, which is a big assumption, but let's just say you could, then you could set up this, because the suggestion in NBA from a caddy tool perspective is really just going to be your ETR projections or whatever you upload to it. It's just going to go, you take the highest one, dummy, So in an basically uncorrelated sport like that, we could do a combo projections, and then any combo, just something simple like this, any combo higher than X, don't suggest them. Don't suggest that player. So like if you have Giannis and for some reason is going high with whoever, LeBron, there's 30-40% owned together.
Yeah.
Don't suggest LeBron to me in my second round pick.
Or you might want to pair that. I mean, you want to, this is too nerdy, maybe too fussy, but you want to say, like, how much projection am I willing to give up to not get a chalky combo? Like,
that's
you'd
a
want
good point.
some slider.
Yeah, because you don't want that.
Maybe a line is good enough. Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, I didn't think of that. You don't want that faller. But I mean, that should be very rare that they're the highest owned combo and it also falls to you that dramatically. But
no, I think it does. It does happen, and the place it happens is when. So I've seen this. I've done enough drafts to see this anecdotally, where you do see this spot where you draft a guy third, and then there's like a big cliff coming up in projection. I'd say like 3 points, but no bigger than everything else. And then by the time you get to you're at the cliff, and there's one guy before there's a big jump, and so you get stuck. I think the way around that, is to just hope that doesn't happen every time it comes around to you there, and it doesn't. In many cases, it won't. So like somebody will reach for some reason, or they're trying to get different, and then, hey, look, I don't have to take the same guy yet again. But I do see that dynamic where it's like, well, God damn it, I have the same pair yet again, because it's like, it's a big enough projection jump that my stuff doesn't think it's worth getting different. So
we need two numbers. We need the average number of combos that any two random players are at, and then it should be somewhere around there should be the cutoff, with the caveat of another number, which would be the point drop off of the alternative picks.
Yeah, I think something as easy as just like, having a straight line graph and everything on this side, it doesn't suggest it, right? Where you're graphing combo percentage on one axis, and then projection loss when you pass it up, right? And so, and then there's some line there that you draw, and then if you're under the line, you don't suggest.
Well, that would be, I'm just thinking this out logically, like in real time in NBA, that would be so hard because the people you're drafting against are mostly they press the plane. The NBA drafts take about 3 minutes.
That's true. I always take like 3 times longer than everyone in my draft, and I'm not using the whole time. I use like 10 seconds. It's like boop.
And they probably get mad at you. They're probably in their little
They're probably
Discord
not at their fucking computer anyway. That's been auto.
Well, no, I know that they complain about the guys in Pete's Discord and the Badge Bros. They complain about the people who don't press the plane. So you're on someone's bad list. Although I will say this, Dan, you're kind of a folk hero to these people, by the way. They kind of think of you as like, what's a good analogy? They're kind of like you're like there's a good science fiction comp here, but I'm not coming up with a good one.
Incel in chief.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking like Foundation. Like in the Foundation books, like you're kind of like one of the members of the Foundation, and they're sort of like the villagers. No, they're probably like the university professors, but you're someone from the Foundation who like knows more than the university professors. Cool. To these hardcore drafters.
That's like the nerdiest compliment I've ever received.
Have you read those books? They're great.
I think so. It was so long ago that I'm actually not 100% sure. I think I only read the first one.
The first one is the best. I'm just such a completionist. Like when I start a series, I got to read all of them. All right,
Fiction is really tough for me. It's very tough for me to get through.
You know what? I find that easy to believe, Dan. I find it easy to believe that you would struggle a little bit with fiction.
It's tough.
All right.
I'm not proud of it.
Let's ship it back in. Oh, and we might get another. We might get another Jefferson.
Another JJ. If you want to switch it up, the switch up would be Kamara in my stuff.
I don't, but that is helpful to know. It's helpful to know that your stuff thinks that he should be the third pick.
It has. Let me see what I have right now. No, I have JJ first and Kamara second at the moment.
Oh, okay. So that will be very different. ETR releases their NBA projections. So it says on their website, it says 3 p.m. Eastern, but in practicality, they're often out before that. And hey, they're very good. Like the Dink and those guys, I mean, they're insanely good at their jobs. Like when I do play NBA, I plug in their rankings and then go off from there. They're very good.
Mm-hmm. They're one of the sources I use.
You know, we could get Utica to do. He could all if well. I don't know. I mean, he might be so rich that actually the 7 minutes it would take to manually plug in the entries and then click the button on the contest might be beneath him. But
he wouldn't do it for the EV of the contest. Let's put it that way. He would have other reasons for doing it.
He could max every contest in 30 minutes. Less 5 minutes.
He took Barkley first. Okay. Yeah. So we're just going to take JJ. Yes.
Incredible. So let's not take Darnold on this one. Let's just structure this to say we don't want to take Darnold on this one.
I like it.
Yeah. Because that would be a nightmare for Justin Jefferson to be the slate breaker, but Darnold gets 19, you know?
So let me see how often Darnold is paired with. So when Darnold is taken, he's taken solo in my stuff about 20% of the time. So he's usually being taken in my stuff because you took Jefferson.
Because you took Jefferson, which completely makes sense. Although, you know, that I mean,
you do it every time. Can't be correct to do it every time.
All right, here's a spoiler for Peter's video on Friday. Peter will have either Justin, TJ Hawkinson and Darnold, or Jordan Addison and Darnold on his BR video on Friday on the Deposit Kingdom. There's a little look into the mind of Peter. I wouldn't have gotten JSN and Gino in his video last week, so maybe my read will be wrong.
Feels like there's going to be a lot of McCaffrey drafted on the turn this week.
Yeah, because it's so flat, and you tell yourself the same thing we told ourselves, which is, well, the swap is clean and projects for a lot of points.
I think it's not a bad thing. It's just feels like that's going to happen a lot. All right, James Cook. Okay, now it's saying. Okay, it's interesting. A lot of mixing here. Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, James Conner. You want a running back here.
You'd have crushed on the election, by the way.
Yeah, I saw on the Discord.
Are we going Taylor?
Sure, whatever. I'll just listen to the computer.
Debo is the first receiver listed. Were you not to take a running back?
Oh, I was gonna. I mean, if those two are what you need in Battle Royale this week, my best ball teams will also be the nuts. This is also true. The turn is also the 101 swap slot. You get first rights of swap. So, pretty important.
I need to make a PSA. How much time do we got before our next pick here?
No
time.
Okay, do the pick, and then
it's gonna tell us James Conner, and we're gonna disregard that, and then we can go with who's next.
Oh well, now that Jalen Hurts.
Well, let's just take
Jalen Hurts a little early in the tiny sample we have here. Interesting.
Can it just tell us to take Debo? Because that would be nice.
Okay, it is saying Aaron Jones, James Conner, and then Debo is listed third.
All right, let's take Debo.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, now it dropped, of course. It likes Devontae better.
Devontae Adams. Well, I disagree.
Okay.
The projections. I'm telling it a little bit of ball.
Sure.
All right, Brian. What's your PSA?
For everyone on Endgame, we're gonna end the stream. We're gonna continue on Davis's channel because Neil and Adam are going to be doing a showdown show on Endgame in a couple minutes here. So if you want to watch a showdown show, keep watching Endgame. If you want to keep watching this show, go to Davis's channel. If you're on Endgame,
we should just be able to click remove, right?
I think so. Yes, I'm going to do it now. We'll see.
We're gonna find out. We'll find out. Let's go. Let me go check on the Endgame Syndicate YouTube and see if the video is still there. That's a little hack they don't tell you about. I'm so excited to set up this new computer. This computer I'm on is so old. It's from 2019. I honestly can't believe it's still alive.
The computer I'm on right now is from 2013.
But not the inside of it is not from 2013.
The CPU is.
Is it not?
The CPU.
Yeah, but you've added and chopped and changed all kinds of stuff to it. Maybe
the power supply. I think is the only thing I've changed on it. Honestly,
wow,
the reason I can get away with that is I do all my stuff in the cloud, so it's not like I need a fast computer in my house. But it's going to be a shock when I upgrade this when it finally dies.
It will not surprise people to know that I'm a Mac bro. So I needed these computers. I mean, such a woke lib computer. It could barely last a year. Am I right, Brian?
Are you an Apple phone guy too?
Oh yeah.
God.
Okay, it says.
I'd never get in a Bitcoin.
It says James Conner. We're going to ignore that, I assume. Trey McBride is winning.
I like that. I like Trey McBride.
Let's do Trey McBride.
Brian, I got into Bitcoin because I know a good idea when I hear one.
Oh, we shouldn't have taken Trey McBride. That's kind of dumb. Because the odds the next guy takes 2 tight ends is basically 0. Oh well.
That was one thing I was thinking. Is this actually a week where wide receiver is so bad that two tight ends might actually be theoretically viable?
I'll give you the numbers. So my stuff is doing 2 receivers, 3.9, and it's doing 2 tight ends, 0.4% of the time. So not very often. Now it's saying it wants James Conner, but we can ignore it. What else do we need?
Quarterback.
We're not taking Darnold. You could take Downs. Kyler Murray is listed.
Well, let's do Kyler and see if it still wants. Let's do Kyler and see if it still wants us to take a third Cardinal. See if it still wants to take James Conner.
So as we've seen, like my NFL sims are not super sophisticated. So one of the weaknesses is it doesn't account for. It doesn't properly weight the chance that a bunch of guys will have a ceiling game on the same team. So it's going to overestimate that. And because of that, it's going to give you 3 from the same team, probably more than it should.
How do you respond? How do you respond to that, Brian? The cloud is liberal propaganda.
Clouds aren't real.
Clouds aren't real. I think it clearly is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So if it tells us to take James Conner, I'm not going to do it. I'm hoping that none of our opponents actually they can't. So I'm going to take Kareem Hunt with our final pick.
Okay. We took Shakir.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, so it's going to say Connor and then Hunt is next.
Okay, well, there we go. That's what we're going to do.
So
I think this is the shipper. This might just be the team that wins it. Kyler, Taylor, Hunt,
Kareem
Jefferson,
Hunt,
Debo.
It gives you $9.77 in value.
How much?
$9.77.
And it would have been like 27-13 with James Conner.
James Conner, I thought $14.
Wow.
Brian, grade the computer this week. Greatest ever fantasy football computer sims.
I like it.
It's solving fantasy football for good, all caps. I mean, that might have been the peak. I don't know if I'm going to top that one. For good.
Yeah.
For good. It would be like if Kamala created a fantasy football sim, right, Brian?
The title should be "Why Even Play Anymore."
Dan,
Garrett,
you're gonna put me out of a job if you start getting good at thumbnails.
The title, yeah.
Sims that will unburden what has been. No.
Yeah.
This Brian, this take cast we did is the most watched take cast ever on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was looking at the comments. We thought people might not like it, but it seems like they enjoyed it.
I thought it was okay. I just don't like you guys.
Well, that's why we kind of met.
Yeah, that's valid. Wow, 101. All right, they really want us taking Justin Jefferson, of which we are okay with.
I liked everything about it except you two.
I liked everything about it except for you guys.
Okay. Actually, maybe one of these streams we should host, and there should be no human beings visible and no talking.
That's just a podcast. Oh, just the screen.
Just the screen appears.
It's so funny. I'm on some of these Reddits for like people who are like learning about YouTube and stuff. And it will, people will be posting like, why is no one subscribed to my channel? And it's just unedited, silent footage of them playing like Call of Duty. And they're like, why is my channel not growing?
I've seen that. Yeah.
I was about to say, oh, we are in this draft with Take Cast Fan 01.
Nice.
Noted fan of the program.
Wow.
And a no badger. Let's take James Conner on this team so that it tells us we made money. Brian, what are you guys talking about on Lowell's this week?
We have Shady on tomorrow, in an hour.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Missouri just got legal sports betting. How
many did you pass by? Like 7,000 votes?
Yeah, just barely. Yeah, it was really close. That is something for me. Yeah, when's the Madden stream coming, Brian? When are you gonna play LeBron in Madden on stream?
Oh, that would be an easy win. Easy win. I can't play on stream because then everyone will steal my strategy.
Can't everyone just watch you? Can't everyone just play against you?
Nah.
And learn your strategy?
Nah, it's a lot harder.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, you can't really see the defensive play art and stuff, so
I would think it's kind of like poker, where after enough observation of your opponent, you start to learn things. But I guess you'd have to go back and you'd have to watch it back.
Yeah.
How many games did you play on election day? Did you really try and help the youth of America in that day?
Oh no, I didn't play any election day. I don't think.
Wow, so you failed in your duty. You really took no joy in it.
I take no pleasure in it, Davis.
Are you top 10 yet?
No, it resets every month, so it just reset. So now I have to grind again. I was
gonna say, you're not even we don't even have a top 100 Madden streamer.
No, second now. Do I have to do it again?
Mm-hmm.
The point was that I'm old and I haven't played in 20 years, and I did it. All right, that's all that really matters.
Okay, I have Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Kelce winning at the moment.
Let's do Wilson because I actually think this combo will get harder to get than easier to get. I think the people are going to realize how bad scrolling at wide receiver is, and Garrett Wilson is going to end up being a first rounder.
Interesting.
That's my gut read.
Now Kelce and Adams are duking it out at the moment. Taylor is behind a little.
So that's funny. That's the second time it's wanted to take a third wide receiver, despite the overall sim saying three wide receivers is dusty.
Oh, now Jonathan Taylor is winning.
Well,
Taylor and Kelce, like literally 1 penny behind each other. Taylor winning by 1 penny over Kelce. No, Kelce winning by 15 cents. So I mean that's like an example where it's like just the number doesn't mean anything. It's just noise. Yeah, so it ended up being Kelce, then Taylor, then Adams.
Okay. So it got directionally correct. Have the Sims been profitable? Well, Nerdy took 5th in the main BR last week, Chad. So you tell me.
I just
$5,000. Yeah, that's true. You weren't even. You just had the all 22 on, and you were like, oh man, Jackson Smith-Njigba. It's just really ideal for him. This week. He's got a
breaking down defenses, figuring out how much they're playing in man versus
it's true.
How much two high safeties are they doing? I'm running out of football lingo. I'll just stop there.
You did, Dan. You only did like 20, right?
I did exactly 20. Yeah. I did end up with a lot of Lamar and a good amount of Zay Flowers to go with. So that when I was looking at the games, I was like, oh, I wonder if I actually made money this week. That was a nice surprise.
What day did you draft those? Saturday?
I usually spread them out. So I do a few drafts before we do this stream just to make sure my stuff is actually working. And then I'll do like a few on Friday and then a few on Saturday is what I've mostly been doing. And then I've done some Sunday last minute, but like it's funny too, the dynamic of when everyone's drafting. Like you look at how many spots are left Sunday morning, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get like 5 drafts in, and then like you do one draft and like it's all filled. So you can't get that many drafts late. because
no, you gotta draft on Friday.
Or Sunday right before lock.
Or Sunday right before lock. I mean, yeah. Can we just cater to Brian? Can we actually keep the slate open until 12:15? Actually,
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, it's saying Tony Pollard here.
Wow. Surprise Pollard. I got no issue with that. Just feed me more guys that I like.
Now it's saying James Conner. But if you want to delay, running back, the next thing,
we could take James Conner.
You want to just take him now? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're yeah. This is a good time to take. So now it's going to be down to what quarterback is left.
Which is good.
Yep, always good.
That is a great lesson from doing these sims. Is that by and large it is just take whatever quarterback fits in the last round. I mean, that should just be a good lesson for all of us, anyways. Looking at all these teams that have won this year, outside of the weeks that, so like yes, you do get a Lamar nuke, you do get a Jalen Hurts nuke, but by and large, it's been a lot of, oh, Jalen Hurts got 24 points, Baker Mayfield got 26 points, and then they just brought along their correlated pieces.
Yeah, I think, just as still consider myself learning this, but the biggest leak I see consistently is people drafting non-elite quarterbacks too soon.
And too often. Too often.
And the reason is, like, number one, there's usually a lot of viable choices. And number two, like, having an uncorrelated quarterback is not a disaster. There's usually something you can get that's going to work. So it's usually not worth giving up the draft capital to grab
that point you just made is so lost on I was about to say most of the people that play this game, but honestly, I'll say everyone. So for example, let's Justin Herbert. You just take Justin Herbert naked. You don't take Ladd. You don't take Quentin Johnson. You don't try and force anyone else. You just take Justin Herbert. There's no reason that Justin Herbert can't run for 27 yards and a touchdown and throw 2 touchdowns and 320 yards with 1 touchdown going to Josh Palmer, 1 touchdown going to his fullback. He gets 26 points. I don't know if that math exactly adds up. He doesn't bring anyone along with him. But you actually have a combinatorially super unique roster because every Justin Herbert team that gets drafted is probably going to have Ladd McConkey. I bet the combo of those 2 players is one of the highest combos of 2 players in the whole pool. But what if Ladd only gets 11 and Marvin Harrison Jr. gets 14 and it was better to take the uncorrelated?
Right.
It's probably something people are not doing.
Somebody asked if so I don't have a strong opinion. I feel like so the numbers change week to week a fair bit in the Sims, and it's largely because of, like, this week, the fact that Lamar is not playing means that, like, he would be, so Lamar and I guess Josh Allen would be top. You can draft this guy without a correlated piece kind of pick, right? And so the fact that Lamar isn't playing means the percentage of uncorrelated teams is going to go down, right?
Is going to go down.
So, like, this week, I'm looking at uncorrelated team percentages. That is, I should be more precise. When you have the quarterback without a pass catcher, it's about a third of the time this week.
So this is the wrong way to look at it, asking how many non-stacked teams have won BR, because the whole field is doing it. So your representative sample is like a stacked team. Oh, we're up, by the way. Who does it want us to take a quarterback?
So we don't want Darnold, right? We decided not Darnold.
I mean, whatever. It's Mahomes, Darnold, or
Mahomes and Darnold
Rodgers
are very close. So if you want to just mix it up, might as well just get Mahomes. They're like within a few dimes of each other at the moment.
But yeah, like I don't know. If I had to guess, I would guess on a non-Lamar week, 70% of rosters have their quarterbacks correlated, maybe more. If I had to guess. So
That's
it's just going to
probably
be
close to correct. Honestly, I think
for sure.
it's probably
Yes.
close to right.
Yeah.
So it likes our team to the tune of $15.37.
God, I'm paying for my new computer today. It's beautiful. All right, that was a shipper.
Yeah, the guy asking about the EV, RFK Jr. said in Trump's America you'll be able to spend Skolansky bucks.
Sweet.
At your local grocery store if you don't buy any seed oil based products. So
I heard seed oil's banned day one.
seed oil's banned day one, and you could spend Skolansky bucks on healthy foods.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If I could go to Trader Joe's with Skolansky bucks, my life would be perfect.
Imagine being a single issue seed oil voter. Imagine somebody calls from like, I don't know, a polling organization. What's the most important?
You joke. Those people exist. They're two issue voters. They're Bitcoin and seed oil voting.
Well,
Those are their two.
This country has over 300 million people in it. You can find just about anything, I guess.
I would be lying to you if I didn't say seed oils was in my top 20 political issues. It would definitely make the list.
I was just gonna say you have a guy sitting right here.
You have the guy who a political pollster would call and ask about seed oils, and I would give him a very strong opinion. Dan didn't know that I'm half left wing crazy, half right wing crazy. He thought I was just left wing crazy.
Enough to get the flavor, the Davis political flavor.
Alex in the chat. Alex knows. Y'all are sleeping on how bad these seed oils are. My house.
I'm not even joking.
My house. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We do have junk food in my house, but we don't have seed oils in my house. None of it. Olive oil, avocado oil only. And butter, obviously. And why is that, Nicholas? I'm gonna get demonetized. This video is getting demonetized so fast.
So my worry is that my wife practicing in the background will get you get the. I didn't even think about that.
Those are all uncopyrighted songs.
No. I have a whole thing about that. I'll explain in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's gonna want Kamara.
Yeah, it is. And it does. Yeah. Correct. So my wife today is playing all music that is the composers died in the 19th century before. So one would think copyright is not an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But YouTube has this auto flagger where it uses AI to recognize music that sounds like copyrighted material. It doesn't do it based on the work. It does it based on the recordings it has. So if like some famous violinist records Brahms' violin concerto and posts it, and then you record it, the stupid freaking algorithm will be like, your thing has been flagged for copyright, because it can't tell, it doesn't know about the piece. It just knows that you're playing something that is on a copyrighted channel. So This happens to my classical music colleagues all the time, where they upload a video, it gets flagged, and then it takes forever because they don't want to. The whole point of the system is they don't want to pay anybody to have to look at videos. Mm-hmm. So then there's like this whole super annoying process for fixing it. It's really stupid. So we're gonna ignore James Conner. Garrett Wilson is next after James Conner. So
this will be the least combinatorially unique team in the pool is Garrett Wilson and Alvin Kamara.
Interestingly, it's listing Jalen Hurts next. Well, now it's dropped. Then it has Kelsey.
Well, I was gonna say let's do that for fun.
Okay,
I moved Hurts up.
You can do it. It finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th in my list. It's not too bad.
All right, you kind of led me astray there. You said he was first. I just cost myself.
And then it changed.
I took myself. I just cost myself like 7 Sklanskys. They're not gonna. You know me, Sklanskys.
Like
RFK is not gonna cash those in.
got some breaking news here.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to talk about this on Lulz in a minute.
Oh, it's definitely Lulz worthy.
Definitely Lulz worthy. The petty theft. Yeah, there it is. Petty theft. You put any of these on? I guess this already, and you don't put any of these on podcasts, right?
I did for a little bit. I think the keyboard is not optimal for audio only listening.
That's
not
fair.
that I want it. Not that
sure?
I want.
So
I don't know. Maybe
saying James Conner, but then Dobbins, Wilson, or next after that.
let's do Wilson. Why do you ask, Brian? Just
just because I didn't read that that banner you just pulled up, the comment you just pulled up, and I'm like, oh, if we're doing this as podcast, I probably should have read that. Petty theft retired.
My
EFS.
My general philosophy is that I put the podcast up for people who have been fans and listeners of me for a long time, but can't really imagine something less EV for my life personally than someone choosing to listen to a podcast as opposed to the YouTube video. The YouTube view and subscription and like and comment is you guys really cannot conceive of how much more valuable that is than a podcast listen.
Yeah.
I didn't even
I've heard that in other places as well, that they just for whatever
this is like asking to get sick. Drinking almond milk, Adam, is like asking to get sick.
Why
you know how they make it's vegetable oil with crushed up almonds in it, dude. It's canola oil.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's obviously not 100% true for all brands, but most of the brands, it's about as processed of shit as you can find.
Yeah, I was wondering how they're getting so much juice out of an almond.
Why is that?
Yeah.
You have to massage it gently first.
So this is kind of true, Joshua. Sorry, it's kind of true about seed oils. And again, it depends on who funded what study. Also,
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Listen, if we can spend Skolansky bucks, guys, we're not going to disagree.
honestly, you make a great point. Everything around us is poisonous, toxic garbage. That is true.
Okay.
I'm hoping it. How much money does it give us if we take Devonta Smith?
Devonta Smith. It's fine. It's if you ignore James Conner, it's costing you like $1 to take it now.
Okay.
I mean, I imagine.
I can afford it. I can afford it now.
Now that we can spend the Skolansky bucks, yeah. My guess is that it's imagining there's a good chance you get it coming back.
Get him around. Yeah.
Yeah.
To which we say we don't really care because anyone, if you made it this far into the video, you've realized that people are just clicking whoever the hell they want this week, which I think they should be. I think they should almost be taking guys in a random order after pick 20.
Pure random.
Not pure randomness, but look at how flat the projections are. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
You need that, I think, as a clip. People are just, you said it so seriously. People are just randomly taking people, which I think they should be.
Which I think, well, especially in my rooms, they should be.
Gonna wait for that Bucky Irving to be drafted. Let's see.
I think I have taken Rashad White once, which is not very good.
No. No, it's not.
Play whoever you want.
The
classic Blender. I wonder how Blender did on the election. I wonder if his lib biases stopped him from profiting.
I would guess they did. Because I think he was a Nate Silver truther.
Oh, well, was
he? I didn't know that.
Nate Silver had Kamala at 53% at 10 p.m. Central Time before I went
saw
to bed.
that. Yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Actually, every time we pick, Dan runs 80,000 simulations, and it just tells him to take this guy 51% of the time and the other guy 49% of the time.
I'm just recreating the binomial distribution by hand.
These people don't even know his
computer. Rhamondre Stevenson appeared. Okay, but it's saying Dobbins, Ingram, Rhamondre are the top at the moment.
Ingram, interesting. We'll take Dobbins.
Okay.
Got to do the neighbor poll. Did you read that article, Brian?
No.
The Theo, the big French whale who made all the money on Polymarket, said that he hired a pollster company to do a neighbor survey, which is basically you poll someone, but you ask them what they think their neighbors are going to vote for, not what they're going to vote for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say this on Lowe's. I think we talked about this a little bit on the Takecast. Like Nate Silver, it's like the idea of trying to find the bias in the aggregate public polling is like clearly like that was an old edge, right? Like an old inefficiency, and I don't think it's around anymore, homeboy. And like if you're going to be the pollster guy, you kind of got to start coming up with your own polling techniques to be better than the private polling companies that we don't get to see the actual data. Like forget this public polling stuff. Like, yeah, because there's two different types of polls. There's like the public polls you can see on New York Times, and let's make our pick here.
Okay, it's mixing a lot. I see Kincaid, Ingram, Pitts, Ferguson, top 4 at the moment. Ingram winning, Kincaid in second. That's interesting.
Ferguson makes sense for this team, but we'll do Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram's worth a couple bucks more apparently.
Oh yeah, get that.
Oh,
well, actually, his projection is gonna change now. That actually, it's gonna come down with when the quarterback swaps get in.
That's like half a gallon of raw milk you could just buy with the Skolansky bunks alone, right there, Dan.
Now raw milk. So raw milk. Here's a good example. My compatriots, they go too far. I'm with you. No seed oils. Almond milk bad. Oat milk bad. Okay. Raw milk, that's flying in the face of science. Pasteurization exists for a very good reason. Guys, I'm with you. This is really just a great analogy for life. Oat milk, almond milk bad does not mean that raw milk is good. I should be very clear about that.
That's an analogy for life? How?
Because you can have a good idea, but don't take it too far. Don't take a good idea. Here we go. There we go. We got a raw milk truther. I mean, not that I wouldn't drink raw milk, but the science behind.
Why not? You could drink raw blood.
Milk is gross. I don't drink milk anyway.
Depends on the animal, I suppose.
What?
Wow, this chat is so woke.
I don't think the food stuff is necessarily woke. I bet there's a lot of crossover between all the.
Actually,
the science is that pasteurization kills shit that is harmful to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they might be putting some shit in some milk as well. That's probably not too great for you.
Well, the cows themselves have all kinds of
eating.
all kinds of crazy hormones and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out.
This video is getting demonetized so fast.
We're talking about raw milk.
I've already grown one extra limb by just drinking milk. We'll see how many
that was natural. That was nature.
Sure.
Mother Nature.
That was going to happen anyway.
Yeah. It's hereditary.
Is it JJ time again?
It's JJ time again.
I was assuming you were talking about the leg between your two legs, Dan. Didn't you get surgery for that?
I did,
yeah.
So, Petty retiring is funny. So I wonder if that's why I won. I won the night slate in NBA last night.
Oh.
Maybe it's because Petty wasn't there.
I was talking to somebody we know, Dan, and he was saying that the late slate, short slate NBAs are showing just almost can't beat him.
Interesting.
In his stuff.
I have a doubt, but need more data.
It's true. Maybe I never grew because I didn't drink enough milk.
Enough raw milk.
Just milk in general. It's so gross. I've
You don't
never
like
just
chocolate milk?
No, none of it.
Brian, I believe that there are approaches some people use that are profitable, but not in those. That I believe. I don't know. If
Profitable, but not in those. Got it.
Yeah, I bet there are approaches that don't work for that. But anyway, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
I don't eat cereal. I don't eat until noon. Really, ever. I don't eat from about 6 to 6:30 p.m. till noon the next day.
Well, my son eats his weight in cornflakes, and now he's going to be a music major. So that's just a warning to you. This is what could happen.
It's true.
You think Davis is going to pick up the violin if he starts eating cereal?
I do not have the dexterity for that. I promise you that. Oh, an early Kareem Hunt drafter.
That's a little weird.
What does he know?
That is that's a strange one.
All right. I wonder if it's going to want us to take either of the quarterbacks here.
Okay, Garrett Wilson goes. So let's see. Okay. What? Okay. Kelsey, Josh Allen. Why? Josh Allen, Dobbins, Devontae, Kelsey. Allen winning. Why? That's rando. All right.
Projected for a lot of points.
All right. I'm surprised. My stuff is usually not drafting Allen very much compared to the field.
I like goat cheese. Goat cheese is good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Fried goat cheese.
I'm down to eat all kinds of stuff like that, like venison, pigeon, pheasant. I'll eat anything crazy like that. Really,
Venison's kind of tough sometimes.
Oh, I buy venison jerky. That's like after this, like what I have for a snack will probably be like a venison or turkey like jerky thing.
Have you ever hunted, Davis?
No, too lib.
It's listing Kelsey.
Yeah, but it goes along with the whole you gotta like eating healthy thing, right?
Kelsey.
Oh, sure. I'm not opposed. I mean, like I think me personally as a bleeding heart lib, I'd have a hard time like shooting a deer, but I don't think that hunting is morally wrong.
I think it's so my wife's vegetarian, and I try not to eat too much factory farm meat. I think hunting is actually better. It's better because like if you hunt an animal and just eat it, like that's better than freaking factory farm anything.
Yes.
For everyone.
That was a good sequence. Have you ever hunted? No to lib. It's listing Kelsey.
Sorry.
It's listing Kelsey. Speaking of lib.
Speaking of libs. You think he's taking it pretty hard?
That's why I asked him, Dan. Yeah, because it's more humane. Yeah,
it'll be a revenge. It'll be a revenge game for Kelsey this week.
I'm trying to. I want to crack out of my. I feel the exact same way as Davis, and I feel like if you're gonna eat as much meat as I do, you should at least once in your life be man enough to go and do it yourself.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Now, like hunting like a zebra, like an endangered species, like big game hunting, that's lame. That's lame as shit.
Yeah.
But like population control deer hunting, I got no issue with that. I just have never done it. I think you have to have a lot of patience to do that. Like I don't think you can sit and be doing BRs on your phone. So that
screenshot the video of that.
Able to. You might be able to in Trump's America, Davis. Anything's possible. Yeah, you might be able to do some BRs while you're waiting for your kill.
Okay. All right. Well.
Oh no, my mouse has died. God damn it! I gotta get mouse batteries. Come
Oh
on!
no.
Don't die now.
I'm left to my own devices.
No,
what am I gonna do?
You'll survive.
Would you be a good shot, Davis? Do you think you'd be a good shot?
Oh no way. No.
Saying James Conner, Najee Harris at the moment. No,
James Conner.
All right.
Corey Brewer says you can draft while hunting.
I can confirm.
Right.
That's awesome.
Okay.
You know, that's what we need, Davis. Me and you, we should meet halfway in the forest somewhere with a
Brian,
professional.
we do not live far from. I'm in Chicago all the time.
Yeah, well, and 2.5 hours each, split between us. A 5-hour drive to St. Louis when we split it, and then we get a professional, especially in that area, would be tons of hunters. To give us professional lessons on hunting, and then we'll split it. We'll split the venison.
And then you got to find someone who knows how to, butcher it and dress it and all that.
My wife's uncles probably hunt. They probably know a guy who could dress it.
We got a lot of hunters around here in Colorado.
We could carry it, but I don't know about butcher it. But there's tons of butchers who you could bring in.
Yeah, we have a lot of places like that here.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet you do.
I do. There's a restaurant I go to here where the chef is a hunter. So sometimes he'll have like crazy stuff. Like he'll have like a boar that he shot or something.
Oh, that's cool. It's saying Dobbins and Rhamondre and Pollard and Swift.
We'll do Pollard.
Oh,
sure.
I don't know enough. I mean, I'd assume they'd want to give you the one back that you killed, but maybe they don't.
What if you killed a really good one, like a super, I don't know, and they just gave you some.
Wouldn't it be based on reputation? Wouldn't bros know the hunting bros know?
What the fuck am I know? That's a world I know nothing about and wouldn't pretend to.
Yeah.
This fantasy football podcast got awful political.
I mean, we've talked about Sims for 2 hours. How many times now? 10 times? Like, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
There's only so much you could talk about. This is why I said, like, on the last 3 pods, like, go back to the other shows we've talked a ton about all this stuff.
It's true, Brian. We are such weak beta Midwestern men. Yeah,
that's my point. That is my point.
Hey, I do not smoke cigarettes, dude. I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't. This is the only nicotine product that I use. That's it.
I would smoke a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes, but yeah,
of course I have smoked cigarettes, but
oh yeah. If we're out hunting, right, and someone goes, "Here's a cig," you smoke the fucking cig, all right?
Sure.
Don't know if I could do that. I think I could shoot the deer before I could smoke the cig.
I was gonna say, Dan, you are not a cigarette smoker.
Yeah,
no shot.
You're on the golf course. Someone's got a little cigar. You smoke the fucking cigar.
I would try a cigar or a pipe because they don't.
Yeah, you don't have to inhale it. So
you don't inhale. Yeah.
Well, mess with your
pipe. My grandpa smoked a pipe, and I just remember it smelling so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle Charlie smoked a pipe. I remember that smell very well.
Yeah, those
I don't smoke weed. I don't drink alcohol either.
So you can do Shakir or you can do Downs.
I was wondering if it would tell me Shakir.
It's very close, so it looks like it's doing a mixture here. It's like
oh my god. I thought you were talking about like nicotine products or a drink I've never heard of. I'm like, I've never had a Shakir. Sounds good. I'd try one, I guess.
I've have a Shakir. No,
I do
like
extra large. What is that? Is that like a kind of hookah pipe, a Shakir?
A Shakir.
Yeah, we're talking about pipes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll try a Shakir. Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Dude, those are so terrible for you. The hookah
hookahs?
pipes. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I've never done that. I've never done that.
You smoke,
I did that in
so
college.
much smoke in your lungs. It's really bad. So this team, $10.90.
What's the buy-in this week? Is it 7 again?
7 again. Which I'd like if I took 5th place. I like it less donating half my entries. No $3 contest this week, which is kind of interesting.
I wonder what's the median result for a 150 maxer in these? I'd be really interested to see. No, I know, but what is the amount? I wonder.
Yeah. So what's
what's
you buy in for
outcome? 1,000 and
1,100. What is it?
1,050, right?
Yeah. So median will be. I bet you lose $350.
Oh,
maybe
that's
more.
That's not as bad as I thought.
I was gonna say maybe more, but
I would go a little higher than that.
I was gonna guess half. But the nice thing about these BRs is it's relatively flat up top compared to a lot of DFS contests. Let me look at this.
Well, yeah, you can get 5th and kind of pay for your year. Like Dan, you could 150 max and you at worst you'll probably break even on the year for the rest of these basically after getting 5th.
Yeah, he should be fine.
Yeah, especially at the volume I've managed to put in.
I would guess 450, lose 450.
Yeah, I was going to guess half. I was going to guess lose half, but maybe that's too aggressive.
I think because the payouts are pretty flat, and they did adjust it though, so you might be maybe it is closer to 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean it's nice that like first is 40K, but even 10th is 2,500.
Yeah,
that's much flatter than what we're used to in the DFS world.
It's because these are
$1 million for first, and then it's like 10K for 10th or something, or 20K or something.
NBA was brutal for me yesterday. I didn't look at my results till just when we were doing the show. I'm like, oh my God, because I was doing like okay, and I didn't watch the end. And I guess people must have went off in the late games that I didn't have. But then I took 160th or something, and it's like you get $15, and it's like who gives a shit? It's like it's amazing. It's like you beat I don't even know how many thousands of people, and you just don't get shit in NBA. You gotta when you get lucky, you gotta get really lucky.
Well, looking at this payout structure, the part of it that really sticks out to me is like 75th to 100th place gets $250.
Yeah,
like that's where in DFS you just get screwed.
Nothing.
You get bupkis, right?
I mean,
$250. That's 40 times
you get top 1,000, and you like even top 1,000. If you get like 4 top 1,000 teams, that's like pretty good. Like you're gonna get a decent chunk back because you get $30 instead of $10 or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if we could figure this out, but I also think we have to account for the ecosystem. So the Sims will show a higher payout structure is better for us. I mean, like a higher top heavy, but like bros going broke after 2 days instead of 2 weeks, like that seems bad. Like, because you want a lot of opportunities to play against those people. They last longer. Their bankrolls varies a little bit more instead of straight down. I don't know. So I don't know.
It's also just more fun, I think. I think the average amount of fun is better in this kind of payout structure, especially for
you also have to remember that these games are also a marketing tool. They don't want you to lose on these games. They would prefer you to kind of churn water. And I can tell you this not only just because I understand, but like personal experience. I spend so much fucking time on this app. You know how much time? Like if I look at my screen time report, Underdog, top. There's just hours and hours and hours on this app because I'm always on it drafting every sport. They don't want you to go broke on these. They want good flat payouts on these.
It's also just the time invested too.
Yeah.
makes. I think you guys have talked about this before. It makes the argument stronger. It's like, God, I spent like 50 hours, got 100th place, and got $30 back. It's like,
and I lost 60% of my buy-in of all my entries, even though I finished the top whatever percent. Yeah. Well, guys, I gotta go do lulls. We're bringing.
I've got the redirect to. I've got the redirect to lulls. We can get out of here. Everyone, make sure that you are subscribed to the Endgame Syndicate YouTube. Make sure that you guys check out endgamesyndicate.com if you like more of this highly sim-based content. It's illegal for you to ask me what my daily screen time is. That's actually private protected information, and I can have you arrested for asking me that. Don't do it again. All right, we're getting out of here. We'll be back next week. Adios, everybody. It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks